is a war unfolding in the world, but according to this interpretation, it is not one announced in headlines or measured only by armies and borders. It is described as a conflict of ideas, power, belief, and influence, a struggle between truth and deception taking place beneath the surface of everyday life. To those who hold this view, the signs of this conflict can be seen everywhere: instability, suffering, oppression, and the feeling that something in the world has become deeply unbalanced. Within this worldview, the end times are understood as the setting for a final confrontation between forces of good and evil. Ancient narrations and prophetic traditions are interpreted as describing the rise of powerful systems and influential figures who shape the final age before the arrival of divine justice. One of the central figures in these traditions is the Dajjal, often translated as the deceiver. Across Islamic thought, interpretations differ widely. Some view Dajjal as a literal individual, others as a symbolic force, and others as a representation of worldly systems that distract humanity from spiritual truth. Supporters of the interpretation presented here connect these traditions to modern institutions and geopolitical influence, viewing contemporary events through the lens of ancient prophecy. Another figure said to appear in this period is the Sufyani, a character found in some Islamic end times narrations. He is described as a ruler, associated with turmoil, conflict, and hardship. Over generations, believers have attempted to understand who this figure might represent. Some have proposed modern identities based on descriptions found in historical texts, while others reject such identifications entirely and see the narrations as symbolic or not intended to identify living individuals. Within the source material, the Sufyani is portrayed as a powerful figure whose public image conceals deeper intentions and whose rise is linked to larger transformations in the region. The appearance of the Sufyani is presented as a sign that another figure will emerge alongside him, the Yamani. According to these traditions, the Yamani is not merely a political figure but a guide who prepares people spiritually and gathers them toward the appearance of the Mahdi. The source text identifies this role with Ahmad al-Hasan and presents his appearance as the fulfillment of narrations connected to the final era. Supporters describe this mission as a call for people to look beyond appearances and confront what they see as corruption and spiritual decline. The narrative presents the Yamani as someone who appears before the promised savior and serves as a bridge between humanity and the next stage of history. From there, attention turns toward the appearance of Imam Mahdi. For centuries, believers have debated when the Mahdi would come, how he would be recognized, and what signs would accompany his arrival. The source text connects historical events and narrations to suggest that these signs have already begun unfolding in recent history. Particular emphasis is placed on traditions regarding rulers, succession, and moments interpreted as markers of transition. The narrative describes a pivotal moment in which followers believed the appearance of Imam Mahdi had been announced and that a select group had received confirmation of this event. Closely linked to this moment are the black banners, symbols frequently referenced in end times traditions. These banners are described as banners of guidance and allegiance to divine authority. In the source material, they represent the public declaration that a new stage in history has begun. Another important figure introduced is the Companion of Egypt. This figure is described as someone who lives among people while remaining unrecognized until the appointed time. This identity is described in Abba al-Sadiq Abdullah Hashim and portrays him as a messenger who announced the appearance of the Yamani and later proclaimed the arrival of Imam Mahdi. His role is described as one of preparation, proclamation, and gathering people under the symbolic black banners. The narrative then shifts from history and prophecy into a spiritual understanding of identity. According to this belief system, human existence extends beyond physical life. Bodies change across generations, but the soul follows a continuous path. Physical ancestry and spiritual ancestry are presented as distinct realities. Within this interpretation, prophetic figures remain connected across time through the continuity of the soul. The source text proposes that spiritual relationships persist beyond ordinary historical boundaries and that figures from sacred history return in new eras to continue their mission. In this understanding, Imam Mahdi is connected not only through lineage but also through a deeper spiritual continuity reaching back through sacred history. The narrative extends this idea further by suggesting that certain end times figures represent the return of earlier spiritual roles rather than entirely new individuals. This framework is used to explain narrations that speak about succession, inheritance, and relationships between figures appearing in the final age. As these pieces are brought together, the story presents history as interconnected, a chain of events guided by meanings that become visible only over time. Past and present are portrayed as reflections of one another. Names, places, symbols, and identities are understood as clues linking earlier eras to the current age. According to this interpretation, the principal characters of the end times have already entered the stage of history. They are presented as embodiments of opposing forces, light and darkness, guidance and deception. And as these figures emerge, the final struggle is described not as something distant, but as something already unfolding. The story concludes with a single idea, that humanity now stands at a decisive moment. The signs have appeared, the characters have returned, and the battle, according to those who believe this interpretation, has only just begun.